Hello and welcome back to Up the Villa. This is our tactical debrief for Aston Villa 2, Chelsea 1. If you are new to our channel, make sure you are subscribing. Get on this journey with us. Helps me out massively. On this episode, we're going to go in depth into the game against Chelsea. We're going to show passing networks, average positions, heat maps. We're going to go through all of the major talking points from the game as well. And we will also go to the tactical pad to see the evolution from Aston Villa's first half to our second half as well. So I need your help to help this channel grow. Let's have a like target of 1,000. There's loads of information on this episode. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. Up the Villa. Right, so we beat Chelsea. Huge victory. A game that a lot of Villa fans were branding a must win, and we got that win. So it's a huge victory for Aston Villa. It keeps us well in the mix with Champions League football. It was just amazing to see. To be fair, it was just amazing to be there yesterday. I thought it was just electric inside the stadium. I sensed a lot of belief as the game went on. And it was so pleasing to see that players that came on the pitch completely changed the game for Aston Villa. It's absolutely incredible that we've got this depth within our squad that we can bring on Rashford, we can bring on Marlon, we can bring on Garcia, we can bring on Bogard, and we'll talk about Bogard as well because he was very good. So I was just really pleased that we was actually able to get that victory to beat Chelsea, to really keep our Premier League season on track to qualifying for a European competition next season. And I think it was a game of two halves. So on this episode, we are going to take a look at the first half. We're going to take a look at what was bad in that first half compared to how good the second half was. And there were so many good things within the performance, and also there was some bad things, but we'll touch on all of them as well. So we'll start off with the average positions from the first half. I really want to go a little bit tactical to start with and just show you, it's okay saying we were bad first half, but why? Why were we bad first half? Let's get an understanding of what wasn't quite working for Aston Villa. So if we have a little look at Aston Villa's average positions in that first half, and where I thought we were really struggling was with our width of our forward players. This was an issue for me, because what you can see is that you've got Rodgers in an inside position, and you've also got Ramsey in an inside position. Asensio's making up that little triangle of the double pivot, and Asensio dropping a little bit deeper. So if we go to the tactical pad, you'll be able to see both average positions from the first half merged together. Now, what we can see here is the lack of Villa width. Now, we've got width on that left-hand side with Maatsen, which is fine. We know that our left-back can offer that width and actively act as a winger. And then we've got a semi sort of width in here. So Cash is on the halfway line. So his average position would say he's been in that area, and then he's in and around there as well. But I just felt like our width wasn't offering enough. It just wasn't offering an attacking intent, really. And I felt like that was a problem, because we've got Rodgers who's coming in an inside position, Ramsey coming inside, and the midfield for Villa was just so narrow. If you look at the width of the 18-yard box through here, and what you'll be able to see is that inside that width there, you've literally got the whole of the Villa centre-backs. We've got our double pivot. We've got our two attacking players either side of the double pivot. We've got our number 10 and our striker in the width of that. And our width out wide, we've only got, say, Cash and Maatsen are outside of that. So I felt like that was a big problem for Villa. And I think Chelsea changed their system a little bit with James going into central midfield. So they've got James in there and Caicedo, who are really rotating. They've got Gusto and Palmer on the right-hand side. Fernandes, who really had that license. And we really struggled to just get to grips. When the ball went out wide for Chelsea, they were knocking it about, popping it about. We were struggling to get across and get across to those wide areas. Ramsey, exactly the same. And I just felt like when I hear Villa fans saying that we're slow in our passing at times. I actually felt like we were very slow to react to where Chelsea were, and it was a real big problem for me, and I was very frustrated with the way that we played. I think we'd also got a problem where if we're talking about we're going into a back three with Mings, Konsa, and Cash, we'd left this sort of right hand side open with Cole Palmer, and I think that area through there is something that we really struggled to deal with as well. There were so many opportunities where there was rotations, there was movement, they were driving at us around there, and I think we really struggled with Maatsen when he was high up the pitch to really step and get across in this game as well. So that's something in the first half that I was really sort of disappointed with how we played. I felt like Maresca had got the upper hand on Emery and their game plan was working perfectly. And you can see here now, if you have a look at their average positions, that there's a lot more balance there. There's a lot more width with their fullbacks. There's more width with their structured wingers. And it wasn't great first half. We did create some opportunities, but it just wasn't enough. And I think here we can start to see a little bit of a pattern of what was going wrong with Aston Villa. We can see already now that if we look at where Maatsen's positioned, Maatsen's out of position before this ball even gets to Neto. So we're scrambling around a little bit at this moment, and we're not sort of structurally set. Now, I very rarely you see me sort of really get annoyed at players, but I've got to say I was absolutely fuming with Maatsen yesterday when this goal went in, because the goal against Ipswich is pretty much a carbon copy of what's happened here, and I'm big on players learning from their mistakes and adapting and getting better. And when you get in a scenario that you've sort of been done in a game before, you have to defend this better. And he has really got to sharpen up on his 1v1 defending, because he's had the opportunity again to position himself so it enables Neto not to go where Neto wants to. Neto's brilliant. Head down, get to the byline, fair enough. But you can already see that in this situation, Maatsen's in front of Neto. Maatsen can dictate where he can go. You be a little bit more physical and show him down a little bit of an alley that he doesn't want to go down to. But the fact that he's able to sort of take that touch and get past Maatsen, I just felt like he's really got to stop this cross. I said it on the one against Ipswich. What we've got to think of is that if that ball goes in the box, it's going to be a goal, and you have to stop the cross. And unfortunately, we don't do that. We're actually, again, well set here, I think, but it's Enzo that gets in front of one of our players. He gets in between Konsa and Cash. He gets that ball line. If you look at it in sort of like different phases, number one, stop the cross. Number two, near post, stop the cross. Number three is sort of when that ball goes into that area, can Martinez stop it as well? So there's all different options within this goal. And, these two as well, they know that this player's in here as well, kind of get goal side of him and get in front of him, know that the danger is there. And this is what I mean when I say, can we stop the cross? Because Martinez sort of doesn't put his arms out for it either. So, it's a bit of a messy goal from Villa, because it's purely avoidable in stages when you break it down. But I'm big on this. You've got to stop this cross now. We cannot allow 1v1 every time to be beaten, and to even allow it to get into the box. You're asking for big problems once you allow it in there. So for me, we have really got to stop that cross. But we started to just look a little bit, not all over the place, but you can tell that we were really struggling to get to grips with the Chelsea system in that first half because players were out of position, and you can really see this from one of the moments in the first half as well. Again, we've got our left back who is massively out of position. We've got our left-sided centre half who's having to come across and cover. We've got McGinn who's having to go into a centre-back position to cover as well. So I think this sort of paints a picture of tactically we weren't quite there and we weren't up to speed with what Chelsea were able to do, and we're finding it difficult with their rotations, and we were having to sort of pick up positions that we don't really want to be able to pick up really. So I think that's the biggest thing, especially in that first half for me, that I found really, really frustrating. But we did start to see glimmers and big moments from Villa and what we can do. And I think this was one of our bright moments with Marco Asensio especially, is that the ball comes to Morgan Rogers centrally. He plays this wonderful pass on the outside of his foot, and then Asensio is able to just drive forward. Now, there's going to be a lot of things that I mention here that are very, very good from this moment in time, guys. I have to highlight the bad stuff because, that's areas for us to improve on. But we're going to start talking about the good things now, and Marco Asensio. Because Marco Asensio drove forward, and this is absolutely world class. Because he's got into this attacking area here, and he's played that pass to Ollie Watkins. And don't forget, Asensio at this moment in time has drove with the ball from the halfway line. So he's exerted a lot of energy. And then that final pass, you normally see it. It's overhit. It's underhit. It's behind the player. No, this pass was perfect. Ollie Watkins then takes a bit of a heavier touch that takes him away from goal slightly, gets his shot off, but this pass was exquisite because it was timed to perfection and a better touch, and he's got a better opportunity here, Watkins. So Asensio, we were starting to turn the screw a little bit, which I thought was really good. Now, we're starting to get into the second half, and we'll start to have a look at the passing network from Villa as well. Passing network from Villa, very, very good. What we can see here is that structurally, you've got your double pivot through there. We've got nice areas out here. And then we've got triangles galore. And it was just a really good network. Now, the other good thing is that Martinez's kicking was very, very good. I thought his kicking was brilliant. So Martinez, I thought, had a really good game, kicking perfect. And here we've got the Chelsea network where you can see this area was very strong for them, but especially in that second half, their positioning started to drop. Now, before we get into that, what I do want to show you is the difference between first half Villa and second half Villa with Villa's substitutions on the tactical pad. Now, let's note that this is the positions for Villa. Very narrow, width coming from fullbacks, attacking players central, right? So we'll go now and we'll have a look at, here's one that I made earlier, right? Now, this is Aston Villa in the second half. And what we've got is just so much more attacking intent, more fluid, energy, vibrant. We've got width with Bailey, width with Rashford. We've got channel runner in Marlon. We've got Garcia, who's in an attacking area. We've got Maatsen, exactly the same. But the big one, the big change here is note the positioning of Bogard now, who's gone a little bit more to that left-hand side, who is shutting out the Palmer-Gusto partnership that was causing us so much more damage in that first half. Bogard's positioning was absolutely brilliant. And I think tactically that added a little bit of an edge. And I just think the difference between first half, second half was completely different. Now, what we'll be able to see is when we go to the heat maps, you'll be able to actually see this a lot more as well. So if we go to SofaScore, and here we can see now, this is the first half. And then when I press this button, it's going to show you the second half as well with the substitutions. And you can see that width as well. Now, another player that really needs to be spoken about is Marco Asensio, because when I press this now, is there a blade of grass that he wasn't covering? He was absolutely quality. And when we look at Rashford, penetration into the 18-yard box, Bailey, penetration into the 18-yard box. It's just intense. It's intense. And Emery knew to bring these players on, to go attacking, can change the game. We've got Garcia as well, who was attacking. He was getting into sort of like that 18-yard area where we want him. We've got Maatsen as well. When he plays with Rashford and in those attacking areas, he's really, really good. Maatsen, I think, when he's attacking, he's really good. Defending, he's got a lot to work on. But also, when we press that button again, I just want to show you, take a little look at Mings' position, number 5, to when we go with Bogard. He's just covering that little bit more ground. He's just seeing off Chelsea a little bit. And I thought it was just really good tactical awareness from Bogard as well. So, substitutions, Marlon, brilliant, game changers coming on. And I think also we need to talk about Monchi a little bit here as well, because 2 players, especially, have won Villa this game. Our January transfer business is absolutely astoundingly good. Asensio, 2 goals. Rashford, 2 assists. 2 new players. It's remarkable. It's absolutely remarkable that the players have come in and hit the ground running straight away. But I said it at the time, like, good players don't need time to adjust to a new team. They could just adjust and get going and just showcase what they're all about, because they're absolutely fantastic. Now, right, so we're going to go now to the goals. Left-footed Matty Cash, he's done this before, hasn't he, already this season, and with that left foot. This is a worldy cross from Matty Cash on his weaker foot to stick it into that area. It's absolutely brilliant. It's got whip, power, accuracy. And again, for Rashford to keep it alive, Asensio sticks it in the back of the net. Villa back in business. And I felt from this moment that we were the only team that were going to go on and win this game. It was a VAR check. We did have a little bit of a scary moment with Cole Palmer, who beat our offside trap, and he had a one-on-one. Martinez slipped, Cole Palmer slipped, but great recovery from Konsa to stop that from going in the back of the net. Penalty all day long. I mean, look at the state of that. Look at the state of that. He has got 2 arms tugging him, pulling him down. You can talk about should Everton have won the game with their penalty or had a penalty against Manchester United. That is a penalty all day long. All day long. I just don't understand how they've looked at that and gone, no, that's not a penalty, lads. That's a penalty. That's a stone waller. Like, it's ridiculous. So that's a mad one. Now, here we go. Austin Macphee, ole, ole. Austin Macphee, Austin Macphee, Austin Macphee, ole, ole. This is, for me, straight off the training ground. Straight off the training ground. What a set piece this is. Now, some might overlook it and say, I didn't really realise how good of a set piece it was. Macphee knows what he's doing. Shall I tell you why? He knows that if he takes the corner and it's not taken short, nobody's going to be standing and blocking that from there. So what he knows is that if he goes to take a free kick into or a corner into the box without taking it short, if he passes it to Tielemans like he does and receives it back again, Rashford, and we know how good Rashford is now, don't we? Right? Rashford, in that amount of space, can either drive into that area or he can whip it into the box, because we know how clean he can hit everything. But also notice where Asensio is. Asensio knows that he needs it in that area, and he plays that cross into that area. And this is a great, well-worked goal. It is brilliant. And the keeper fumbles it, but what a contrast between the keeper that we had against Ipswich to this one. The Ipswich one's pulling off worldies. This one sort of lets it go underneath his body. But the power of the cross and the shot as well, I think that's what beats the keeper. It sort of skips underneath him. But this is such a well-worked goal. And just the belief of the team to suck this into the back of the net was just absolutely incredible. So, well-worked goal, really good finish. We can see here now, when it does go in the back of the net, we're absolutely loving life. And then this is where he actually sort of strikes it. So you can see that we're really looking to find Asensio in there. And it's class. It's absolutely class. So if we just have a little look at some of the underlying numbers now, and there are some really good numbers in here as well. So we can see that Asensio has got 85% passing accuracy. Only 2 of his 7 duels were won. Rashford, 2 of 4 duels, 94% passing accuracy. Martinez, 74%. We've got here Konsa, 95, with 1 of 6 duels, so that's low as well. But here, the other big factor is Tielemans and McGinn. Now, Tielemans, 86%, 10 of 14 duels. We've got McGinn, 90%, 11 of 18. Rogers, 7 of 11 duels, 88%. Mings, 5 of 5, which is incredible, 91% passing accuracy. Bailey, 63, 1 of 1 duels were won. Matson, 89%, 6 duels, and he won 2 of them. We've got Watkins, 3 duels, 1 out of 6. Garcia, 100% passing accuracy. Bogard, 90% passing accuracy. Marlon, 67. Cash, 75. And Ramsey, 75. We have a look at some of the other underlying numbers from the game. So Aston Villa had 74% success on their final third. We've got 50% of long balls, 23% of our crosses, 54% of our ground duels were won, 47% of our aerials, 65% of our dribbles, 53% of tackles won for Villa. So all in all, guys, a very, very good victory. And the contrast between first half, second half, it's there for us to see. But those lone players that have come in at Villa have transformed our attack. Rashford is absolutely quality, and he gets you off your feet. You want him to drive. You believe he's going to do something every time he gets the ball. Asensio bagged 2 goals. And again, good players don't have to score screamers, outside tap-ins, because they've got that technical know-how, and their finishing is good, and just it goes in the back of the net. And Asensio, when he was linking play, that little one where he takes it, links it with Rashford, and he's on his way as well. I'm just loving the lone players, and I'm loving that Emery sort of changed it and tweaked it. So Villa fans, it was a really good victory, and hopefully it's going to put us in really good stead now going into the Crystal Palace game. So One Take Robinson has done it again, guys. So if you are loving our content and you're not subscribed, make sure you do. If you do watch us a lot and you're not subscribed, then just you know, make an account, subscribe, help us out. So, yeah, we want 1,000 likes on this one. Comment your thoughts. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to. Yes, I have. Right. So, up the villa. Enjoy your day, and I'll see you tomorrow.